Hello everyone and welcome to the Matrix Exodus. I've been away for a while because I've been spending time with family, especially after my sister died at such a young age. It's important for me to ensure that I'm seeing them while they're all on holidays and visiting and things like that. But in the meantime, I have been doing other things. I've been contacting Cleveland and Cheshire Police about their definition of stirring up racial hatred. Obviously, these two people were posting comments on social media, and it seems as if the Cheshire Police are basically sort of monitoring the internet. I did question them through Freedom of Information Act about this, which is probably the incorrect way to go about it. So they were very they didn't really provide that much information in response to my questions. So I think I'll have to basically send another inquiry to them. It's just that I couldn't find their address on their website. It only sort of takes you through tabs, and then the tab was an option for various things and then freedom of information. So I did it that way, but I feel that it was probably the wrong thing. I am sort of looking for specific information from them. I do want to know if they're basing this on political and ideological concepts, and how it is that they define stirring up racial hatred. I'd like to understand this. If police forces are monitoring the internet, then I want to know what it is they mean. Basically, I want to know this because I want to understand what it is. Are people safe? Are white people safe in going to the police and making a claim or an allegation against someone who is non-white? And not just are they safe, do they feel safe enough to do that? And the same with the situations where the police are driving rainbow cars. Can a straight person make an allegation against a homosexual? If a homosexual has raped someone who's straight, would that straight person be safe? Or would they feel safe going to the police about that? It's the same thing. If they are victimised groups by the police, are the majority safe in reporting a crime by a minority? And again, do they feel safe? Do they feel that the police won't come after them for being racist or homophobic or something? I felt that I wasn't after I was raped, and it's why it took me so long. Now, the police do have a duty of care, and they do have to make it so that people aren't afraid of turning to them if anything happens. So I wanted to understand, since it appears like Cheshire Police are monitoring the internet for the nation, or maybe not, then I just want to sort of question them a little bit further about it and make an inquiry. So I'll try a second attempt with that one. Secondly, and this sort of led to me writing my book called The Greatest Fight Virtue. This is on from a different perspective, but my son, near the end of last year at school, he was in a class and the teacher had told the class that only white people could be racist. And that to me was really, really upsetting. And it was so upsetting that it just brought back horrendous memories of everything that I'd gone through, having to fight my legal case, the police driving off when they could have helped me, and then the after effects of all of that. So I really was upset by the fact that a teacher would say that to a whole load of children, basically. So in my book, the victim doesn't actually deal with the situation. So, and that just torments the victim even further to a sad and tragic end. Whereas I did contact the school that my son attends, who were providing this information. And I also made issue with something else that they had omitted, and it really did, that also upset me at that time, and that was about a year ago. So I contacted the school to make a complaint about the teacher using that sort of wording that only white people can be racist. I said that, I don't want that happening again. I explained what had happened to me, that the police allowed me to get raped because they probably didn't want to deal with a racism claim. And I stated that, all of that affected my ability and my trust in the public sector and going to the police about the crime, and certainly going to the police immediately. It took me 3 years. And I also stated that if that happens with a child, then other children could be harmed. The school has a duty of care and responsibility to ensure that they're not being ideologically groomed, and that's what I called it, grooming. But also what happened about a year ago. So the school sent emails to the parents, and they stated that there was a man hanging around the school approaching the young girls as they were leaving. And that was it. They just said, please be aware there's a man roaming around the schools approaching young children. And they didn't provide any description. So immediately, because of that, I knew that he was probably Asian. Then I did send another response to them, and I said, can you please provide a description, because it's your duty of care to ensure that you're providing the full information to parents so that they can help their children. Anyway, it was ages till they responded. And that wasn't even to my email. They just responded to everyone in general. They quoted the police force's description, and that police force did state that they were Asian. The man, or the men, it was in the end. But there was another police force involved, and they didn't provide a description. They just kept it as it's a man. So it was really interesting that the two police forces acted very differently. So I'm also going to be contacting the police force which did not provide description of the perpetrator or the suspect, and I'm going to make a formal complaint against them, because these police forces are absolutely failing people right now. They're getting completely focused on what's politically correct, like ego. Basically, it's all about their ego. Do we look good? Do we fit in with the mainstream? And that's not their job, to fit in with the mainstream. Their job is to police. So I'm getting really, really annoyed with that. And that's been quite upsetting over the holidays as well, because it has been building up. And I do have these traumas where I'm sort of feeling really upset by everything that's happened and happening, because it's focus on race. And it's one of the reasons why I just wish we weren't in a multicultural, one of many reasons really. but probably a priority reason, because it really does affect me in such a negative way. And obviously their argument to not provide descriptions of suspects is because they think that it will stir up racial hatred. They think it. They don't have any evidence that it will do or anything, but for the sheer fact that they will not discuss the description will heighten that racial hatred. They have to be honest. They can't be protecting groups of people by victimizing them, because that will increase distrust. And this is why I feel that I don't want this multicultural society, because they're not responsible with it. They can't be. They're going to, I feel that, Britain never left the class system. They just brought in a new class of people, of the new victimhood group, which is the non-whites, and then turned them into a new class, and a supreme class in many ways, or certainly in recent decades. So I'll let you know what's happened with the school. I've said, if you're afraid to provide the description for whatever reason, which you shouldn't be, but if you are, then please ensure that you are just simply quoting what the police force has said, if there's a police force who has provided. And because it's a boundary place where I live on quite a few different boundaries, so there's all sorts of police forces which get involved in these situations. So it's just interesting to see that how they react, these different police forces, who's willing to name, who's willing to describe the perpetrator. And it's really it's only a description. So it's so sad that we're in this place, and it's such a reminder of why what happened to me happened. I have said to the school that if they continue in their behaviour, then I will come back at them with, I will look into the situation with regards to disability discrimination, because I've got PTSD. And I said also, this comes under the Human Rights Act with regards to torture. So if something's inhumane or degrading, then I could argue that their refusal to describe a suspect is torturous to me, because it's a reminder of and disability discrimination. So I said all of that, and they said, right, okay, we'll sort that out. So that's good. But yeah, I feel that what we've got to do at this point is start going after these people through the law, through the legal system, and self-representing. And I do find that hard at times, because when I really got to with this trauma, it really is hard to sort of operate. But I'm going to have to try and overcome it a little bit quicker if I can. But I do find it sort of disabling at times. It really gets to me. It's hard to explain just how bad it gets, but I'll have to overcome it so that we're sort of beating this system. So I'm going to be writing up all of my notes from my university course for law, and I'm going to sell that, so that, and I'm going to write up a good piece, but I just want people to know that how to fight a court case, and what their opponents know, that kind of thing, really. So that's where I'm at with that. So I'll get those sorts of things written up, and if you buy the ebook, I think it would only cost about £12. It's going to be a long, it'll have to be done in sections, but the first getting to understand the basics will probably be about 150,000 words, which it takes a long time to write up. So I do need to get money back for that. But I'm going to be writing up my law degree so that other people can buy it and understand the law so that they can fight back if they wish to. I mean, I do see all these sorts of comments, oh, we'll just wait for the injected to die off, which I hope people don't go down that road. I have thought about it, you know, but I mean, in the meantime, we're getting led down this horrific authoritarian, totalitarian sort of possibility of digital bank currency, which is dictated by our behaviour. And if that happens, which could happen if we're not willing to fight before the deaths of the injected, if that were even to happen, then we've really put ourselves in that situation ourselves. And you can't just blame the vaccinated, because if we did nothing, if we didn't even make complaints and queries and questioning these people in authority like the police over their ridiculous wording and definitions and find out what those are, then we did it to ourselves anyway. So that's where I'm at. So hopefully, you know, that explains where my disappearance went to, and I'll be back again. I'll be going over the law now in this one, just so that we can sort of see what's coming up with the legal system and how to fight back, really. So take care, everyone. Bye.